I had a weird dream on the 27th. I forgot the document. The it was like anal eating mummy god talking to me. It was kind of funny. And in the dream I was having, I had a flashback to I think I was like in kindergarten when we were doing this classroom competition. I can't even remember what it was. It was like a field day event. And I was gonna win, but then this teacher rigged it so this girl that was in our class won. And I just kind of shut down after that teacher rigged it. And then again, in somewhere between 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, and even in the special ed room this happened, where a teacher would just rig something. But basically in the 3rd grade, I think it was, a teacher, we had a spelling contest, and like this, a teacher rigged the spelling contest so this kid could beat me in it. And the teachers who I caught rigging shit so that these idiots could win or beat me, disguised it always as either they're helping me or they're teaching me a lesson about being too prideful and arrogant when I was just smart. They couldn't handle I was smart and they're just goddamn stupid. In my dream, when I was watching this kid go up and watch his victories get stolen from him again and again and again by bastards who rigged the system, I had anal eating mummy god suddenly go, I know why you're not trying. I know why you've given up. And I was like, what? And I was like, I am trying. I'm doing it. He's like, no, you're not trying. He's like, the truth is you're not trying. And I was like, bullshit, I'm trying. And he was, no, this is why you're not trying. And he was, this scenario in the 3rd grade was interesting because the teacher embarrassed themselves when they rigged the competition. Yeah. They rigged it so this kid could win. I figured out it was rigged, and I gave up halfway through it, and I stopped trying. Because I knew it was rigged, and there isn't anything I can do, because I only focus on what I can control, not what I can't control, because I'm not a dumbass. And the teacher was like mortified when they found out that I had given up. So what they did is they said that, oh, something happened, something went wrong in the votes. Yeah, something went wrong. And we're gonna redo the entire contest over again. So that we can, and then I didn't try. I didn't care to try, because I knew it was rigged. And I remember the teacher was like, Bobby, you like, all you gotta do is try a little. All you gotta do is do something. And I just sat there and I just started deliberately spelling the words wrong. And this shit came up again. If you watch that video, I think it was 2 or 3 videos ago, where I was talking about, their court cases are fucking rigged in this fucking place, so there's no reason to try anything ever. Because they're rigged, and I know they're rigged, which is why I told my lawyer to act out and do a bunch of crazy things that I thought would be funny, because if you know something's rigged, here's the secret. You don't play the game. You protest. And Anal Eating Mummy God was like, Bobby, the reason you're not trying is you've internalized this, and on a subconscious level, you're literally protesting the entire church by not acting, because you know that this is all rigged. And you don't care if it's rigged for you to win. You don't care if it's rigged for somebody else to win. You just want justice. And justice doesn't exist. And he was like, I'm sorry about that, but justice doesn't exist. And the reason you don't feel like putting any effort forward is because of this. And then I saw all these other events that somehow on a subconscious level I knew they were fucking rigged. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And dude, it was anything from my idiot friend Taco cheating at playing video games to this one time when I was like 3 or 4 years old. I was playing with this neighborhood kid, and we were playing, I think it was Mortal Kombat, I'm not sure, it was some kind of fighting game, and this kid used a cheat code to give his guy like basically infinite health. It made his guy like extra tough. I played Halo against a kid in high school, and the dude showed, like, the dream showed me, like, this kid had rigged that he had set it up so that his character was tougher than everybody else's, and that's how he beat me. Like, and it's just that, it's my quote, when you cheat to win, you've admitted you already lost. Okay? As soon as you cheat to win, you have already lost. Okay? Because you have admitted you cannot win without cheating. And Anal Eating Mummy God was like, that's honorable, that's noble. And he was like, and he said, it's a part of our church to keep them fighting one arm behind their back. It is a part of my church to cheat at everything. And he was like, and you don't want to try because you know we're going to cheat. And he was like, you know they're going to ignore you. And I don't understand court. I don't really understand how any of this shit works. But there was a whole point, like the whole reason the information on heavy metals is on the internet about how it alters your psychology is because when I was in court, I said the church has to release all of its knowledge on heavy metals to the internet. People have to know what happens when you ingest tetralead. People have to know what happens when you ingest aluminum. I was like, because it's how they alter your psychology. I don't remember how I knew that, but I knew that, and I said that. I also said they had to release the red and white pills that erase your mind, which the church did not do that. I also said they had to stop human trafficking, to which the lawyer replied, I'm certain I don't know what you're talking about. And then Anal Eating Mummy God called me, and he was like, the whatever thing, and he was like, did you stop us from human trafficking? And I was like, I told the guy, and he said he was certain he didn't know what I was talking about. And then Anal Eating Mummy God screamed on the phone, and then he hung up, and then he called back, and he was like, they're gonna call back and talk to you. And then I just completely forgot. My mind went completely blank. Yeah, because I had cadmium poisoning. And that kept happening when I was president, too. I would just forget whatever I was doing. This is why you shouldn't poison people with heavy metals. But now I gotta wonder, did my mind actually go blank that day? Or did I just...
That traffic bill has to be paid today.
Okay. But yeah. Or did I just... shut down again, knowing that it was rigged. When I was in the special ed room, I have no idea what the obsession was with taming my ego or just getting me to believe I was stupid was like the entire thing, because teachers would just be wrong. They would say something stupid, and I'd point out, that's wrong, that's not how that works. Or I would, like, just, it didn't fucking, I just couldn't for the life of me. It made me psychotic growing up. Teachers trying to explain to me I'm stupid while rigging shit to prove I was stupid, and it was like a child. Like, I can see you. I can see you. I know this is messed up. When I was in the 4th grade, our teacher gave out math quizzes. And on this math quiz, the bottom right of the page, there was a number, and that number lets you know how difficult the quiz was. Everybody had on grade level, like it was like everybody had page 3, which was the difficulty level. For some reason, the teacher gave me page 4 and 5, which were the harder levels, and I ended up failing those math tests, and then the teacher pointed out that I wasn't trying hard enough when they rigged it. And, like, dude, yeah. It's amazing how people just meet me, decide they don't like me, and then go, I'm gonna rig something, but I realize that maybe the truth behind this entire situation is this is me protesting in my own little way on a subconscious level. And like I said, the dream was weird because it was Anal Eating Mummy God explaining to me that it's not that I have to fail this. It is that on a subconscious level, I don't see a point in trying because I think it's rigged. To which she was explaining to me, it's rigged, but we are just people. We lie, we cheat, we do all the bad things, but we are just people. If you just try, all you have to do is try. You don't have to do anything special. He was like, I am begging you. And I was like brought back to being that little kid that was just watching people rig everything. My sister used to do it too when we were kids. She would rig shit so she could win. So I would just give up. And I'd stop trying. And I remember the day with the spelling test, when the teacher decided to redo the spelling test, I just sat there looking down. And they were like, Bobby, try. And I was, no. And they're, Bobby, try. No. 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 It's rigged. It's rigged. And I remember screaming in my head, it's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged. I don't care, it's rigged. I can't win, you fucking rigged it. And I remember telling the teacher, you need to let me win. And the teacher just, and then, oh, if you're going to act like that, you're going to get out of my room. I didn't rig anything. And then later the teacher was like, I can't believe you did that. I set it up so that I was like, it's rigged. And then I just kept saying it's rigged. And I remember the teacher just, like, what is wrong with your fucking head? Like, and I think that's where I'm at with this entire thing. Is I think that dream put it all into perspective for me. I do not care to try anymore because it's rigged. And on a subconscious, it's literally something I've committed to on a subconscious level. And I remember even in school, high school, it followed me all the way to high school where I refused to try at anything for that matter because I was like, it's just going to be rigged. And I remember this teacher screaming at me, it's not going to be rigged. It's not. And just like, stop rigging it. Stop it. Just stop. Let what happens happen. Let it happen. Okay? Like, stop fighting it. Whatever. I told Anal Eating Mummy God, I was like, here's what you want to do, Mr. Just Person. When you take me to court, in your court, you lose your own church, it's goddamn tax-exempt status. And I remember and I was like, because you're not a just person. And he was, I am a just person. We are just people. We're giving you a chance. You just need to take the chance. You just need to try. And I was, can't. And he was like, no, it's not rigged. It's not rigged. And I was suddenly that little kid in the room just looking down with my hands on my head, and the teacher screaming at me, try, please, try. And I was, you rigged it. And I just, yeah. And I guess maybe this kind of sounds like a ramble. I probably sound psychotic, but this is a dark truth of my mind. And even with Blondie, after he got me to sign the paper, and I told Anal Eating Mummy God he lied about it, because he did lie. He lied about the paper. Anal Eating Mummy God got upset, and I remember when they hatched some ridiculous fucking plan, and it was with the Black Lives Matter assassinations. Obviously they're gonna lie about it, because if you do anything against the church, they murk your ass. Which, fuck them, they're garbage people anyways. I remember, because Blondie rigged it. he cheated. He poisoned me with heavy metals. That's cheating. And I remember feeling that sense of hopelessness, and I guess that's what it is it's hopelessness. It's a feeling of I can't do anything. That's what the feeling is. It's a feeling of I can't do anything. And like I said, the teacher, remember the teacher, Bobby, please, Bobby, try, please, try, please, and no, you rigged it, I'm not going to try, and I remember the teacher was, and dude, there was a stupid parent-teacher conference with my mother and my stepdad, where a teacher had once again rigged something to teach me a lesson, and I literally stated the shit was rigged. The teacher was all smug, and then I told him how I knew it was rigged. And then the teacher froze, and then my mother like looked at him, and then he was like, well, he just shuts down and stops trying. Yeah, I shut down and stopped trying when I know you're rigging it. That's not me, by the way, that's you. Yeah. I think I've been on a pretty good spiritual path, even with these crazies out here. And I remember Blondie telling me they're gonna lock me in a room, which I kind of self-isolated for the past 2 years, with the greatest psychologist on the planet, which I assume is me, but I'm actually not that great at it. I think I would have figured a lot of this stuff out sooner. The dream with Anal Eating Mummy God was weird because he was basically imitating the teacher, screaming at me, please just try, please just try. You don't have to do anything, please just try. Just try. That's all you have to do is try. And I was like, it's rigged. And like I said, I was that little kid, like, it's rigged. I don't care to try. You rigged it. And then I snapped on him and told him, you need to give it to me. And I've done that multiple times in the video, and I realized that's I guess they call that a trauma wound. It's a deep side of my psychology of being tired of people just cheating at everything to beat me, and then trying to convince me somehow I'm stupid, somehow I'm inferior. When you have to cheat to win, you admitted you already lost. In my brain, I already beat you. Okay? It's you that can't accept you lost. And that's kind of just how I think. This is kind of just what I'm going to be ruminating on.